Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Fall 2019 Austin Peay State University Board of Trustees meeting. It's great to have everyone with us today. And at this time, I'd like Ms. Secretary to please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins.
Here.
Trustee Kanata. Trustee Carroll.
Here.
Trustee Jenkins.
Here.
Trustee Luck.
Here.
Trustee Mealer.
Here.
Trustee May.
Here.
Trustee McAllister Brooks.
Here.
Trustee O'Malley.
Here.
Trustee Wadia.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Please note that there are items on your agenda that need to be adopted. I move for adoption of the agenda. Is there a second? Second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. The minutes for the June 7th, 2019 board meeting were circulated in advance of the meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes then? Moved by General Luck, second by Billy Atkins. The motion, is there we got a second already. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. The minutes are approved. Now I'd like to recognize President White, who will introduce her guest for today.
I am delighted today to have someone with us that I have watched since I've moved to the state several years ago, and you will know that Austin Peay has done very well over the last few years in the funding formula that is Tennessee's way to appropriate money. And Stephen Gentile, if you'll come up to the table, is the Chief Fiscal Policy Officer at THEC, and I thought it would be a really nice thing for Dr. Gentile to come and share with you how the formula is constructed. This is really critical. He'll share this with you in just a moment, but we're getting ready to realign the formula statewide and look at what goes into creating the formula. So I asked him to come and give some background on the formula. I think he's going to share a little bit about how Austin Peay has done as well, and then tell you what we might be able to look forward to in the future. And I'll just tell you that he is a leading higher educator in the state of Tennessee, and we're delighted to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, President White. I am very happy to be here today to talk to, as President White said, an institution that has done very well in this funding formula. I am joined today by two colleagues. Lauren Collier is here, and Jason Cavender, our Chief Finance Officer at the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. Jason Cavender is also an alumnus of Austin Peay, and as he informed me, he once bought a car from this facility here back in the 90s. It's wheeling and dealing here. The task ahead, what I hope to present on today is talking about what is fiscal policy, what is driving our state and how we distribute appropriations. We give out $1.1 billion to our universities and community colleges. And the task that we have at hand at the Tennessee Higher Education Commission is to work on behalf of the community colleges and universities to determine how we are going to distribute that money. In front of you here are the shares of funding. It is every state's task to determine how shares of funding among their institutions are going to move from one year to the next. You can see going back to 2011-12 how Austin Peay's share of total funding has increased over time. Again, we're talking about $1.05 billion to see Austin Peay going from a 3.8% of that share to 4.7%. What is the intentionality behind that move? Is there intentionality? Some states, quite frankly, don't have a policy to guide how these shares change. In Tennessee, we do. How it looked before 2011, nearly all of our appropriations were distributed on enrollment, 14th day enrollment, a time that we just passed here at Austin Peay and at our institutions. How many students are in the seats on the 14th day of enrollment? And then we use that to determine your instructional cost, academic support, student services that follow that size of student body. And we did look at the different disciplines how many of your students are in engineering, physical science, mathematics, and there was different costs associated with that. Also in that time, we did have fixed costs, looking at the overall physical plant, the size and age of your physical plant, and then a small sliver, that red in that pie chart, dedicated to performance funding. Performance funding started here in the state of Tennessee in the 1970s. We were the first state to engage in performance funding, and then other states followed, but it was a small percentage for the 30 years it was in place. And it focused on things like licensure exam pass rates, accreditation, job placement rates. That has, though, been in the DNA of our funding formula for quite some time. In 2010, we passed the Complete College Tennessee Act, CCTA, that was under Governor Bredesen and then championed along with Governor Haslam and now Governor Lee, focusing on, first of all, can we improve transfer pathways for our students going from community colleges to universities? Can we enhance research in the state? But also, let's be really strategic with how we fund our institutions. Let's move away from enrollment. Enrollment is important, access is important, but what is even more important is making sure those students who come in complete. How the state was funding was saying, really, we just cared about that 14th day enrollment. Now, the institutions cared about completion, but the state stopped at enrollment. How can we align our state needs with the needs of the institutions and encourage and incentivize investment in completion initiatives? So we moved to no use of enrollment. Again, this is a law. This is how things are working in the state, to focus on outcomes. And I'll talk through what those outcomes are. CCTA also said to us, we need to recognize that institutions are different. They have different missions. Austin Peay has a very different mission from UT Knoxville. Our formula needs to be flexible enough to recognize that. And then we should also recognize that there are certain populations that may require more resources to cross that graduation stage. That's in the law. And I'll talk about what those populations are and how we incentivize completion of those students. And then we still have fixed costs in the formula. That's still a measurement. When this building was acquired, that did translate into additional funding for Austin Peay to be able to maintain this facility. And then quality assurance funding. Quality assurance funding was what performance funding was in the old model, is still in this model, based on 9 dimensions regarding, again, licensure, pass exam rates, job placement rates, and accreditation. So the university outcomes. All 9 universities in the state that follow into this formula had the same outcomes on which they are measured. Community colleges have their own outcomes on which they are measured. We're going to focus, of course, today on the university measurements. In front of you, you'll see 9 different outcomes. And some of these will stand out to you as quite obvious. You see bachelor degrees there. You'll see master's, doctoral degrees. Those first 3 that you see in front of you, those are progression metrics. We do incentivize and recognize that there should be a recognition, that there should be a focus on getting students through that pipeline. As students hit 30 credit hours, that is a metric in our formula. Austin Peay is rewarded for that, 60 and 90. And progressive weights are focused on that. It's not worth as much as a bachelor degree, but you do get recognition for progressing students through. You have a lot of students who are coming in with prior credit, competency-based education. As systems get better and better, we are able to provide that incoming credit as a leg up towards these progression metrics. If a student comes in here with 18 credit hours from a prior source, that gets you just 12 credits away from hitting the 30 progression metrics. So again, incentivizing recognition.
Can you ask questions?
Of course, yes, sir. Please.
We have a fairly significant population when it comes to
Could you use your mic, Trustee Luck?
a fairly significant population that comes to us from the military.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes, usually almost all the time, they'll be rotated out to different, which, how does that would seem to me to perturbate the statistics in the wrong way if we don't give credit where credit's due on that. I think, 25% of our population?
Our veterans?
Well, no.
Or active military?
Active
Yes, sir.
military. And that's the ones that are most concerned, because when they get orders,
Mhm.
they're gone. Is that accounted for in the statistical underpinning of this approach?
I think that is accounted for in some ways it is not. And in some ways, and I'll talk about focus populations, where an adult student will be worth more in this formula. An adult is anyone who is 25 and older. That's not going to capture all of your active military. But when they do hit these metrics, if they do hit these metrics, Austin P will receive more money because of that. There used to be a metric in here for transferring students out. If a student transferred out of Austin P, that was considered an outcome for an institution. Back in 2015, the Formula Review Committee did remove that, and I imagine that would have been outcomes that were helpful to Austin P. President White, I don't know if you have any to add to that regarding your specific population.
I would just say that as we move forward and looking at how the formula may be changed, it's changed based on what the state says is important to the state. And there is kind of a statewide focus right
Yes,
now
sir.
on
Yes, ma'am.
educating veterans and military. So even though it's not a specific outcome now, it might be in the future.
It very well could be. And I'll go ahead and talk briefly about that. In 2020, we are doing a 5-year review of the formula. It's something that we do every 5 years. You've had President White has served on that committee, and she does serve on that committee, where we will engage for about a 6-month process in determining how can we make this formula better. We are not going to move away from outcomes. That is, again, that's the law, and that's what we believe is the right approach. But are there ways that we can add an outcome here or remove an outcome? Certainly.
Maybe there should be some kind of an asterisk that goes there that if you leave because you're not doing well or just don't like school, that's one category.
Yes.
But if you leave because you have orders to go somewhere else, that would be some asterisk maybe. Would put us in a little bit better shape.
Yeah. I'm writing that down as something that we're going to put into our file of things to discuss. So other things that you see up here, I mentioned that you guys do have master's degrees. That is measured in the formula. You guys are just now bringing on doctoral degrees. That has not been measured on behalf of Austin P in the past. Going forward in the next cycle, that will be a topic of conversation and how that works for Austin P. Research and service is important. Research and service, I don't think many think of Austin P as big in this category as a master's and bachelor's serving population, but you guys are. Research, you do bring in some federal dollars and state dollars for research. Public service, I was looking up your public service that we count and measure and reward. The work that your institution has done for GIS mapping of assessed properties and utilities for Clarksville, for instance, that shows up as success in our formula. And then finally, efficiency metrics, degrees per 100 FTE and graduation rate, 6-year graduation rate. There are 2 metrics on efficiency for universities here. That's because the 6-year graduation rate is not as helpful as it can be because it focuses on first-time, full-time students who are, again, first-time and then tracks them over 6 years. Austin P's metric for that, you're only getting a small glimpse of your population there. Comparison to degrees per 100 FTE, that is more a better efficiency metric that shows, given your full-time equivalent students, how many degrees are you producing? And we'll talk about how well Austin P has done that. Focus populations. We again do recognize the importance of focus populations in our formula. In the university sector, there are 2, adults and low income. The academically underprepared, that's for the community college sector only. How this works here is if you qualify as either adult or low income on any of those 3 progression metrics and the bachelor degrees and associate degrees, you are worth more in the formula. You receive an 80% premium. So again, if you're either adult or low income, you receive an 80% premium. You are worth 1.8 associate degrees in our formula. Instead of being worth one bachelor degree, you're worth 1.8 bachelor degrees. If you qualify as 2 of those focus populations, low income and adult, that's a 100% premium. You are worth 2 bachelor degrees. To put that in context for Austin P, 46% of your bachelor degrees produced last year are adult students. So those students were worth 1.8 bachelor degrees. That's comparison to 29% in the overall sector for universities. 55% of your bachelor degrees are considered low income. That's ever qualifying for the Pell Grant, the federal financial aid grant. That's compared to 50% of the overall university sector. So this metric, this recognition here recognizes that Austin P has a higher percentage. And then falling into both of those categories, your low-income adult students, Austin P of the bachelor degrees last year, 30% of your bachelor degrees were low-income adults, compared to 20% in the university sector. We mentioned that the mission differentiation has to be recognized. This is an order of Carnegie classification, which captures the missions that you are here, what you're here for at Austin P. And you know that Austin P, as I said, does have a different mission than does University of Memphis and UT Knoxville. Traditionally, up until recently, you guys did not produce doctorate degrees, and you won't for a couple more years, I believe. So those are not outcomes that we are going to be measuring and assessing you on. So you can see here in that second square, you have 0% weight on doctoral degrees here. That weight increases as you go across to your right to upwards of 15%, 12.5% at Memphis and Knoxville. Bachelor degrees is where a lot of your weight is at, 27.5%. As you go across, you'll see that that weight declines. These weights are done in association with our communication with your president. We ask every 5 years, what are your priority orders for weights? We compare that to your mission statement, and then we put the weights on those outcomes. So again, these weights will be open to change in 2020. Higher education, Tennessee has been very good for higher education over the last 10 years. We've had a really good economy and governors who are committed to higher education. We see that here in this graph. This graph is a cumulative change in appropriations for all higher education, community colleges and universities. I want to show one thing, and compare this to how things change in the university sector. If you look at the line between 2013-14 and 2014-15, that black line is flat. That's because we received no new appropriations that year. It was not as good of a year in the economy, so we received no new appropriations. But you can see that there are different slopes on those gray lines, some going up, some going down. That tells you even when we receive no money, the outcomes formula is still at play, and it's determining those shares. Some went up, some went down. Austin P is this top line here. Austin P has been the winner cumulatively in the formula over time. This has a lot to do with things like degree compass, academic advising, getting students across that graduation stage, working very well with that adult population and low-income population here, doing what Austin P is supposed to do. A concern a lot of states have when they bring on performance funding is that your flagship is just going to win the formula. That's not true in this case. I will say UT Knoxville has done well in this formula. That's because UT Knoxville has become a better UT Knoxville. Austin P has become a better Austin P. When we look at your data, we're comparing Austin P today to Austin P yesterday, last year. Was there growth? And then we give more money to the institution that grew more on the outcomes. And Austin P has done a very great job here. And then our last slide, in 2019-20, this most recent fiscal year, Austin P received an additional 5.1% more in recurring. That translated to about $2.4 million due to the outcomes formula. And you can see here in front of you what is driving that. As you'd expect, bachelor degrees up from a 3-year average to 3-year average 12% compared to 6% overall. And that's taking in focus populations. And then you also see an increase in your efficiency standards. Your degrees per 100 FTE, they were below average at the beginning of this formula cycle, going back to 2010. And now that was like an 18 compared to an 18.3 degrees per 100 FTE. The average now is 23 across the university sector. Austin P is at 25. So you've gotten better and better, and that has translated into these metrics here. Progression metrics, you guys are up on 30 hours and up on 60 hours. Most institutions, if I were to show you this, are down on those. And that's simply because those metrics are most tied to enrollment. And we're in a really good economy. And so with a good economy and with Tennessee Promise, progression metrics have been flat to negative, but you have been on the upside there. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much for having me today, and thank you for that share slide I showed when I said it's fiscal policy's goal to determine how are we going to align state needs and state mission with our appropriations. The fact that Austin P has been doing very, very well in that shows you that Austin P is in very close alignment with the needs of the state. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, questions, comments? Stacy?
I actually do have a question. So the first or one of the initial slides about the hours, the 30-hour, the 60-hour, and the 90-hour. One thing I think I've gleaned from being in these meetings and just being on campus and talking to some of the people that we did at the Innovative Governance Summit is that some students don't finish, but they get what they need out of college. A lot of them will get a certain amount of hours to get whatever information, and then they get pulled from some company that says, well, I like what you do. I know that you've got the skills, so just come work for me. How do those students, or how do we, does Austin P still get credit for those students? Does that accounted for in the 30-hour to 60-hour to 90-hour accumulation that you showed us, or is there something that that could be done to account for those students who are not necessarily graduating but are getting what they need out of college?
Right now, that where they'll be a success is in those progression metrics, 30, 60, 90. And that's where, again, the weights are not high. The focus of the state is completion, and completion, then completion. And that's where the weights are heavier. That said, this ties very closely to a conversation the state is having in coordination with the institutions about, it's a term you may have heard, the future of work. And the future of work is very focused on the idea that going forward with technology disruption, it will be very important that you think of the education of a student beyond completion of that degree and their ability to come back to Austin P, retool, get the skills they need, and maybe not get a master's or maybe not get a doctorate from there, but then to go back to the workforce. Does our formula adequately recognize that right now? Outside the progression metrics, it does not. And the idea of the future of work and how that ties to our formula will certainly be something we discuss in 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. That was a fascinating report. And I think most of us, probably, or all of us, had a sense for the fact that Austin P has been successful in some of the appropriations and the funding, which we're all very proud of. The red line, and how usually a red line is not a good sign, but in this case it was.
That's Austin P's color, by the way.
Yeah.
I just
Exactly right. It's just fascinating how the state, you all have put together these metrics that help to recognize performance as opposed really to the enrollment, which is what it was before. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Now we get to elect a board chair and vice chair to serve through 2021. Is there a motion from the floor for nomination? Oh, Campus Spotlight, sorry. President White, you're up. Campus Spotlight, sorry.
Thank you. I want to stick to this agenda because we get these guys back to work. And I have a real treat, I think, for the trustees today. Many of you, I know you all support the academic achievement of our students, and that's one of the things that Dr. Gentile was sharing. This is really important to us regardless of who that student is, and one of the things that we are committed to in our Department of Athletics is that our students come in and compete at a high level, but that they succeed in the classroom and they leave here with a degree that can help them thereafter. And so I am delighted to invite the Department of Athletics to come and talk to you about academic performance of athletes, because it's really important that we keep things in perspective. And one of the things that I hear from AD Harrison all the time, and I heard the same thing from the former ADs, we don't have athletes, students. We have students who are athletes, and there is a difference. And so I'm not sure who's making this presentation. It looks like Katie Etheridge, who's a rock star, and AD Harrison, who is also a rock star. So welcome to the trustees meeting.
Thank you, President White, and thank you to the Board of Trustees for this opportunity to highlight what we call our total gov concept. And that is predicated on the building of our student athletes in all areas. When they leave Austin Peay State University, that they're better than they were when they came here. And committed to academics, performance excellence, community involvement, and of course winning in championships. The leader of this area for us is Katie Etheridge. Katie, President White used my word, is a true rock star in this profession, and she has been targeted by many institutions, and we've been able to hold her here. She came here from the University of South Carolina. She has truly created the jewel of the OVC when it comes to academic support units. Her innovative approach to academic support, retention, and leadership have not only energized our student athletes, but it's really changed the game in the way things are done in this conference and around the country. Her unit is largely funded by NCAA grants and resources that they've gone out and found. She has a creative eye to make this machine grow, along with her creativity and a small but strong staff, most of which that are around here today. This has led us to one thing, and that's results. And we're really excited what she has done. So it's my pleasure to introduce our Assistant Director of Athletics for Academic Support and Excellence, Katie Etheridge.
Thank you. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, President White, for having me today. I'm excited to talk to you guys about the success of our student athletes. And most recently, we've done some really good things, broken some records, and I'm excited to kind of share those with you. So we'll start with our semester GPAs, our departmental GPAs. Last fall, we posted our highest ever on record. It was a 3.152 across all departments. With the record GPAs, obviously comes along record Dean's List recipients and AD Honor Roll members as well. That's students who receive a 3.0 or higher on the AD Honor Roll. So we're proud of the work the student athletes are doing in the classroom. It definitely shows the total gov concept and that they're taking care of their work. Across the board in 2018, 2019, our student athletes posted a 3.14 GPA. Men's and women's tennis led the way with a 3.80, which is pretty impressive. Women's tennis obviously won the OVC as well, so they're the true epitome of the student athlete. And 13 of our 15 teams posted above a 3.0 GPA. So again, across the board, all of our students are kind of doing what they need to do. The NCAA academic progress rates, that is an assessment to see where a team is at for the year and for a 4-year term based on eligibility and retention of those student athletes and graduation. And so we're really proud of our 4 teams who posted a perfect 1,000 APR score of women's golf, volleyball, women's cross country, and women's tennis. In addition to those 4, baseball also posted their highest on record at a 985. So I think that just shows a commitment to us also making sure we're retaining those students and then we are graduating those students as well. So proud of that one. Conference-wide, we're making some moves as well. We've broke the records for the number of student athletes named to the OVC Academic Medal of Honors, which is the student who had the highest GPA within their sport. And then we had 123 student athletes named to the OVC Commissioner's Honor Roll, which is a student who receives a 3.25 or higher for that whole academic year. That's over 1/3 of our student athletes. So again, I think that's an impressive number. So most of our student athletes are hitting that 3.25 mark or higher. We had 3 students named Academic All-Americans last year. We have Nia Gibbs-Francis, who is with us today, and she's going to speak at the end of this. All 3 of these students are very impressive, so I just want to give you a little bit of background on them because I think that speaks a lot to our student-athlete population. But Nia was a member of the track and field team for 4 years. She graduated in May with a 4.0 in social work. She has started her master's degree here at Austin Peay in public health and is going to be is a graduate assistant within our office. And so we're so happy to have her. She's been through a lot of the initiatives and the transitions that we've had, and now that she sees it from the other side as well. So I'm excited for y'all to hear from her in a few minutes. Morgan Rackle on softball also has a 4.0. She finished her eligibility in the spring. She does have another year left on her degree. because she's a science major and she transferred. It was tough to finish. She's taking the year off, though, for a good reason. She's competing with the Canadian national team for the Olympics. And then she plans to come back next year to Austin Peay to finish her degree. And then Kristen Stucker graduated last December, was a very decorated volleyball player for us here at Austin Peay. And she has started her vet school at UC Davis, which is the top-ranked vet school in the country. So we're really proud of what they've done, both in their sport and in academics, but also even excited to see kind of where they go from here. Okay, the AASP grant overview. So this is part of the reason we were able to have some of the success we've had is because we were the recipient of the 2017-2018 NCAA ASP grant. It is a grant awarded to low resource schools, and we received a grant totaled of $120,000. We were able to do some renovations within our academic space. We were able to hire 2 interns who helped us with staffing issues that we had, and then to provide more student athlete development programming for our student athletes. You know, one of our main goals is to graduate our student athletes, but we also want to make sure we're preparing them for life after college. The additional staff allowed us to implement an objective-based study hall model, which I think has been one of the keys to us having success. It creates an incentive-based, task-based study hall where our students come in, they see a purpose, they get their task done, and they can earn their way out of study hall for the rest of the week. And so I think it's given them a little bit more motivation when they come in instead of having the set 6 to 8 hours to kind of complete each week. So as I mentioned, preparing them for life after college is a big key to what we want to do. So Ryan Combs, who oversees that area, has done a phenomenal job of creating a 4-year comprehensive plan for our student athletes. They come in and they have peer mentoring. That helps them transition into the university. We work on financial literacy, leadership development, and then to help transition them out of the university setting, we work on resume development and career networking. And so these seminars are put on typically once a month. We have these going on. We partner with a lot of campus partners, which is nice. They're really good at working with us and kind of coming in into our areas and helping our student athletes with those things. Over the past 2 years, 3 of the 4 OVC student reps chosen to attend the NCAA Leadership Forum have been from Austin Peay. So not only are we leading here on campus, but we're also leading in the conference and nationally. So we're really proud of this work those students have done. And the core of the leaders is our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. It's made up of 2 to 3 of our students from each team. They meet once a month. They're really the advocates and the voice of the student athletes, and they bring any issues or concerns that they have. Administration meets with them. They hear those concerns, and then we kind of address the things as we need to. But some of the accomplishments that they've had that we're proud of is they've done a successful mental health week last year. They began that. They're going to have another one coming up in October where they do a week-long day of events where they talk about the mental health issues that our students face. And that is open to all students, not just student athletes. The NCAA Diversity and Inclusion Social Media Campaign, it was actually recognized nationally by the NCAA. So it was a video they kind of did talking about they're more than just an athlete and more than just who they are, and that just talked about the diversity and inclusion within athletics. And then they also participated in a SAC Leaders Retreat with OVC and Nashville Sports Council, and I think that was truly a win-win because our students got a lot to learn from the leaders in those areas, but then also the OVC and the Nashville Sports Council got to see what our student athletes are doing. So it was a fun day down in Nashville. Part of the Total Gov concept is making sure our students get out into the community and give back to Clarksville. We did over 2,000 hours of community service last year. Some of the partnerships that are always ongoing are Burt Elementary Mentoring, Buddy Ball, Manna Cafe, the River Fest, the big event, working with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Loaves and Fishes, and the APSU Campus Food Pantry. We ask that all teams participate in a community service event. We think it's good for them to connect. But as you can see, most of our student athletes are going above and beyond that, which we're really excited about. And the last initiative I just want to mention, because we know the importance of our relationship with Fort Campbell, Haley Jacoby, who oversees the community outreach, knew of this program that was a nationally recognized program, and it partners a university with a military base, and it gives them opportunities for the children of deployed soldiers to come and have just a fun day and get away from like the things that are happening in their lives. And so we partnered with Fort Campbell last year, the 101st Airborne Division, and we did an event with men's basketball and football, and we served over 25 families of deployed service members. So we've already got the works in play for women's basketball in a few months, and we're going to continue this one because we think it's a great opportunity for our students to give back to Fort Campbell as well. So at this time, I'm going to throw it to Nia and let her talk a little bit about her experience here as well.
So as Katie mentioned, I've had a very interesting outlook of this program because I have been here for 5 years on the student athlete side and now working as a graduate assistant with them. So I've genuinely got to see the way the program has evolved and changed and how it's constantly evolving. The objective-based program that Katie mentioned, I've seen it make students more inclined to finish their work, and it has definitely improved grades because we used to sit in there for like 8 hours and be like, well, I'm done with my work, so who's going to be my new friend today? Like, who can I talk to today? So it's kind of changed the culture of study hall to where you're actually completing work and then you're getting out of there. And so it definitely gives like a goal for the end of the week. And also being a study hall monitor now, I'm like, okay, guys, like we don't have to be here for 8 hours a week. We can get our work in and like keep it moving. They've also, I feel like we take advantage of the resources on campus more. We're encouraged to go to like the writing center. We have laptops to check out. There's the African American Culture Center. So we're definitely highlighting those and pushing athletes to do that. Outreach into the community has been a major thing. Haley does work very hard to get volunteer opportunities out. There's newsletters sent out. There's partnerships. So I've been part of so many things with that, and just getting out into the community and meeting different people and getting to show like Austin P is here and we're more than athletes. We actually care about the community and what's going on, and getting to kind of help just change the world has been super important. The staff changing within athletics has also been awesome with academics because I can genuinely say they all tried to make lasting, genuine relationships with the athletes and professors and create truly a liaison between athletics and the academic world of the students, and just make everything work cohesively and together. And so they're just working to really curate the total gov, where you're reaching out to your community, you're getting academics taken care of, and if you can't win in the classroom, then you can't win on the field. So if you're not making those grades, you're not eligible to play. So they're just making sure students know both of those are important. So I've definitely seen the culture change into something very, very wonderful. And we're just constantly evolving and trying to find new ways to help student athletes win in the classroom, win on the field, and then win after they graduate. So just really trying to encompass the total gov and keep pushing student athletes forward. So now I just would like to open the floor if you guys have any questions. Thank you.
Well, Nia, I can see why they brought you along. What a great job. What a really impressive job all of you have done. Katie, Gerald, Nia, a really, really impressive show of excellence that we have at Austin P. And I guess I do have one question. Does a student athlete have to seek out the support, or if I've just had a report card and I'm at a 2.5, does somebody recognize that and come to me to help up my number?
So all freshmen and transfers are monitored, and any student below a 3.0 is monitored. So
Okay.
those that have earned the 3.0 have kind of worked their way out of it. We do still get the academic alerts that happen on campus, and we also send out progress reports twice a semester to monitor those, but typically they've kind of proven themselves at that point, so they can earn their way out. And then everybody else has a weekly meeting or is in study hall with us, so we can monitor their progress.
Thank you. Well, you guys are rock stars, so thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So I think what we'll do is pause for a short break, about 5 minutes, and we'll reconvene at 9:45. Thank you. Thank you. I said to Danelle, giving everybody a 5-minute break is probably wishful thinking, but we're back in session, so thank you. We now need to elect a board chair and vice chair to serve through 2021. Is there a motion from the floor for a nomination for board chair?
Mr. Chairman, based on outstanding performance inception to date, I would propose that Mike O'Malley be reelected as chair.
May I second that?
Someone put you up to this stuff.
And nobody else wants a job.
All in favor then of yours truly as board chair signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion from the floor for vice chair for the board?
Mr. Chairman, my pleasure to nominate Ms. Catherine Kanata as vice chair for the coming period.
Thank you, Trustee Atkins. All in favor of Catherine Kanata as vice? Oh, I need a second.
I second.
Thank you for your second, General Mueller. All in favor now of Catherine Kanata as vice chair of the board signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. And thank you very much. Now, pursuant to Article 9 of the bylaws of Austin Peay State University Board of Trustees, as chair of the board, I am making the following committee appointments. On the executive committee, Catherine Kanata, Mike O'Malley as chair, and Billy Atkins. Student Affairs Committee, Don Jenkins, chair, Valencia May, Stacy McAllister Brooks, our student trustee, and Mickey Wadia, our faculty trustee. Academic Affairs Committee, Gary Luck, Valencia May, Robin Mueller as chair, Mickey Wadia, faculty trustee, Stacy McAllister Brooks as student trustee. The Audit Committee, with Billy Atkins, Catherine Kanata as chair, Gary Luck, and Larry Carroll. And in Business and Finance Committee, Billy Atkins chair, Catherine Kanata, Larry Carroll, and Don Jenkins. I now would like to recognize Trustee Jenkins, Chair of the Academic Policies and Programs Student Life Committee, to give us a report of the committee meeting yesterday. Don?
Mike, thank you for the opportunity to present my report for yesterday's academic policies and programs student life.
Trustee Jenkins. Trustee Jenkins.
Point out this is the last time.
Use your mic. Yep.
I will point out this is the last time I'll have to struggle through the name of this department I'm chairman of. We did not review any action items. We did have several information items relating to the status of the Doctor of Psychology, Counseling Psychology program, elevation of the broadcast media concentration to standalone major of BA/BS in communication media, degree and certificate awards by type and academic year, the program productivity report, and preliminary fall enrollment. That concludes my report. I move that the board approve the minutes of the September 19th Academic Policies and Programs Student Life Board Committee as written.
Thank you, Don. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the minutes of the Academic Policies and Programs Student Life Committee. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the minutes of the Academic Policies and Programs Student Life Committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you, Don. I now would like to recognize Trustee Carroll, member of the Audit Committee, to give us a report of their committee meeting yesterday.
Thank you. The committee reviewed and approved the following action items: the internal audit salaries and budget, and the fiscal year 2020 internal audit plan. The committee reviewed the following information items: fiscal year 2019 internal audit year-end report, internal audit reports released between May 11th, 2019 and August 26th, 2019, along with the list of outstanding audit recommendations, and an external audit reports released between May 11th, 2019 and August 26th, 2019. That concludes my report, and I move that the board approve the minutes of the September 19th, 2019 Audit Committee meeting as written.
Thank you, Trustee Carroll. It has also been seconded by General Luck. It has been moved, therefore, and seconded that we adopt the minutes of the Audit Committee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the minutes of the Audit Committee meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Thank you, Larry. I would now like to recognize Trustee Atkins, Chair of the Business and Finance Committee, to give us a report of their committee meeting yesterday.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At yesterday's committee meeting, August the 19th, the committee reviewed and approved the following action item: consideration of campus property acquisition. This item will be presented for your review and action momentarily. That concludes my report, and I move that the board approve the minutes of the September 19th Business Finance Board Committee as written.
Thank you, Trustee Atkins, and thank you for the seconds. It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the minutes of the Business and Finance Committee meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of adopting the minutes of the Business and Finance Committee meeting signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And the minutes are approved. Trustee Atkins' report contained an action item that we need to consider as a full board. Trustee Atkins, do you have a motion for us?
Yes, you have before you, or on your iPad, a copy of the proposed campus property acquisitions. And by direction of the committee, I move to approve the proposed campus property acquisitions as presented.
Because it is a motion of the committee, we do not need a second. You have heard the motion to approve the proposed campus property acquisitions. Any discussion or further discussion? I know there was discussion yesterday. Hearing none, the question on the approval of the proposed campus property acquisitions. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins.
Yes.
Trustee Kanata. I'm sorry, she's not here. Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins.
Yes.
Trustee Luck.
Yes.
Trustee May.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley.
Yes.
Trustee Wadia.
Thank you, Danelle. Thank you for the opportunity now to present my report from yesterday's executive committee meeting. The committee reviewed and approved the following action items: consideration of the revisions to the bylaws and consideration of revised presidential base compensation, performance evaluation, and incentive plan for fiscal year 2019 and 20. The above items will be presented for your review and action after the approval of the executive committee meeting minutes. That concludes my report, and I move that the board approve the minutes of the September 19th executive committee as written. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the minutes of the executive committee. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the minutes of the executive committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. You have before you the proposed revisions to the bylaws, which will make the board chairs two-year appointments. Because it is a motion of the committee, we don't need a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, the question on the revision to the bylaws making board chairs two-year appointments. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins. Trustee Atkins.
I'm sorry.
Julie's already objecting to our. Let me restate it quickly. You have before you the proposed revisions to the bylaws, which will make the board chair a two-year appointment. Because it's a motion of the committee, we don't need a second, and we're asking for a roll call vote.
Trustee Atkins.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins.
Yes.
Trustee Luck.
Yes.
Trustee May.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley.
Yes,
Trustee Wadia.
thank you. Consideration of the presidential base compensation, performance evaluation, and incentive plan for fiscal year 2019 and 20. Before we begin, President White is asked to step out during this brief discussion. You have before you the presidential base compensation, performance evaluation, and incentive plan for fiscal year 2019 and 20. By direction of the committee, I move that the board approve the president's compensation, performance evaluation, and incentive plan for fiscal year 2019 and 20. Because this is a motion of the committee, we do not need a second. Is there any discussion? I would just add that our thanks and kudos go to Trustee Atkins and Mitch Robinson for their efforts ongoing in this area. So thank you.
Things change from year to year, and as we stated on our first year,
I agree, and thank you, Billy, again, for the work you do on that committee. Any further discussion? Hearing none, the question is on the approval of the presidential base compensation, performance evaluation, and incentive plan for fiscal year 2019 and 20. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. And we'll invite, I think Carol's retrieving President White. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We are being asked to approve several naming requests for spaces on campus. I recognize General Bailey, Vice President for External Affairs, to give us some details on the naming requests.
Thank you, Chairman. There are 3 naming requests in your folder. The first naming request is for Coach George Fisher Conference Room. Harold Red Roberts and Stephanie Roberts donated a transformative gift to support this request. The Coach George Fisher Conference Room will provide the football coaching staff an area where they will be able to meet as a group and discuss strategy, recruiting, and everything else needed for a successful football program. The recommendation to name the Coach George Fisher Conference Room was made by a campus committee appointed to compliance with Austin Peay's Policy 7, Tag 009, naming rooms and areas and building plaques. We're going to do them in a group, or we're going to do them individually?
I think a group would be.
Okay. The second naming request is a naming request for Lisa Diane Ross Classroom. Ann Ross created Lisa Diane Ross Fund of Excellence in memory of her daughter. The gift meets the requirements to name a classroom-sized space on the Austin Peay campus. The cash gift will be used towards the establishment of Lisa Diane Ross Fund of Excellence, which is an unrestricted endowment administered by the Austin Peay State University School of Nursing Director to benefit students and faculty in the School of Nursing. The recommendation of this particular classroom was made by the campus committee in compliance with Austin Peay's Policy 7, Tag 009, naming rooms and areas and building plaques. The third and final naming request for the Downey Baseball Operations Center and Clubhouse and Downey Moore Creative Department Suite. Doug Downey and Linda Downey donated a transformative gift which meets the requirements to name classroom-sized space. They also met the 25% threshold needed in order to name a building location on the APSU campus, which will be the baseball operations building. The cash gift and pledge gift will be used to construct a new operation facility for the baseball team, while other cash gifts will be used to purchase new creative media equipment and start an endowment to help support the Downey Moore Creative Department in perpetuity. The recommendation to name the Downey Moore Creative Department Suite and Downey Family Baseball Facility was made by a campus committee appointed in compliance with Austin Peay Policy 7, Tag 009, naming rooms and areas and building plaques. Perpetuity.
You've heard the explanation from General Bailey. We will take these up as a group. Is there a motion to approve the naming request for the George Fisher Conference Room, the Lisa Diane Ross Classroom, and the Downey Baseball Operations Center and Clubhouse, and Downey Moore Creative Department Suite? It's been moved and seconded that we approve the naming of these facilities. Any discussion? I just obviously say we give great thanks to those donors that made these naming opportunities possible. Any additional? All in favor then signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. On behalf of the board, I'd like to thank those individuals again, and thank you, General Bailey, for your presentation.
Thanks.
On recommendation of President White, moving forward, we have separated the Academic Policies and Programs Student Life Committee into 2 committees. I think part of the reason is because it's hard to say it the first time around to begin with. The Academic Affairs Committee and the Student Affairs Committee. Because of that, we need to revise the charter of the Academic Affairs Committee and ratify a charter of the Student Affairs Committee. Do we have a motion to ratify the charter of the Student Affairs Committee and revise the Academic Affairs Committee charter? Do we have a motion? Thank you. Is there a second? It is moved and seconded that we ratify the charter of the Student Affairs Committee and revise the Academic Affairs Committee charter. Any further discussion? Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll? Yes. Trustee Jenkins?
Yes.
Trustee Luck?
Yes.
Trustee May?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley?
Yes.
Trustee Wadia?
Thank you. We need to set the calendar for meeting dates for 2020. As a reminder, the Focus Act requires the board to have 4 regularly scheduled meetings annually. The following dates are presented after polling trustees about their availability and reviewing the campus calendar. So the proposed meeting dates for 2020 are as follows. The spring meeting, March 19 and 20, summer, June 4 and 5, the fall meeting, September 17 and 18, and the winter meeting, December 3 and 4. I move that we accept the proposed meeting calendar for 2020. Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion about those dates? Everybody good? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor of adopting the 2020 meeting calendar signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The board just approved the new Student Affairs Committee. In recognition of that, I'd like to invite Dr. Eric Norman, Vice President for Student Affairs, to provide an overview of the Division of Student Affairs. Dr. Norman?
Good morning, and thank you, Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to present information about the division, as most people probably are not fully aware of all that's encompassed within that. I always like to start off with our mission and vision, which we actually revised this past May semester. We are blessed that we have a number of leading experts in the field, and we are truly trying to shape the lives of the students that are blessed to be on this campus. We have a number of departments, and again, I don't think most people are fully aware of all the departments we have here, so this is a series of slides that lists those. But just so you're a little more fully aware of what's encompassed within that, it'd be good to understand the programs that are involved with this. And I'm not going to read actually each of the slides, but I want to give you some small tidbits of information. So, for example, for our ANTS, which is short for adults, adults, non-traditional, and transfer students, this is one of our 4 centers. Each of our 4 centers has a different product that they offer our students. And in this case, our ANTS center provides the test banks and test preparation programs to include the Praxis, the NCLEX, the GREs, GMATs, the LSATs, METs, MCATs, SATs, and ACTs. So all the preparation programs, and they sign those out for a period of time, and if they need to revise that again, they may. It also encompasses a computer lab as well as a refrigerator, which our students use a lot. Our commuters come here, they put their lunches in there, and they continue to revise it. And we usually have other food that's provided as well. So if they're not able to provide their own food, they have some other opportunities. This spring semester alone, we had 1,792 visitors, 421 unique students within that. We also hosted 43 events in the spring alone. And as was previously referenced, we had 46% of our students are classified as adult students, so a very large population. For the WINDAC, we have a series of technology opportunities for them. So students are able to sign out laptops, MacBooks, TI-83 calculators, TI-84 calculators, TI-30XA calculators, as well as clickers. This fall semester, they had 3,898 visitors. That is a very large number for a one-room center. And I would say it is probably larger than most of the other schools in Tennessee as far as the usage rates. For career services, which is one I would say that gets a lot of attention on campus as well as off campus, this hosts our Jobs for Governors interactive platform for students and employees. This is where we want to post all our jobs, all our internships, our externships, really any opportunity for a student to engage with a profit, nonprofit, or civic organization. We last semester did 1,155 resume critiques, and there are 585 job postings, as well as 379 internship postings. What we've recognized is that a lot of the internships and jobs are also posted at other places on campus, so we're really being intentional to try to drive those postings all there. And we're going to see those numbers jump up considerably. We've also had 3,229 students participate in programs. Those are frequently videotaped, so they're available for students to look at, even if they're not able to physically attend the program on campus. I'm very excited to say we were able to start a new position this past year. We now have an assistant director for veteran and career advising. Considering our very large veteran population on campus, that's absolutely critical. That person is embedded not only on campus here, but also at Fort Campbell. I would say that they have been quickly recognized as being a resource here, and his calendar is continuously filled. In fact, he's typically working to 7 o'clock at night, which is interesting because he does 2 other things. He was a sheriff. He finally resigned that position. They also raised $65,000 through sponsorships and programs. Our Little Gov's Learning Center is a 3-star program, which is the highest you can obtain in the state. It's also reserved the gold status, or excuse me, the gold sneaker award. This is not a childcare. If anyone says childcare, we will quickly correct them. This is a learning center. We have a very strong collaboration with the College of Education, and we run interns through there. It is a highly structured program. If you ever have time, stop by there. You'll be amazed at the interactive programs they run for the kids that are there. It's really fun to go see. For our counseling and health services department, we had, on the health side, in the spring, 2,424 visits with 1,230 unique students. That's a pretty large load for just the spring semester. There are 1,003 labs conducted, and there were 832 prescriptions dispensed, and 60 staff members also used the center. So I don't know if all the staff members understand they can tap into that as well. On the counseling side, we had 1,718 program attendees, 781 individual sessions in the spring, 112 intake sessions, 132 screens, 75 crisis visits, and 42 groups. A new program we've started is something called Let's Talk, which is more of a drop-in type service, and we did 89 visits for that. And what's also nice to know is 36% of our population utilizing those services are classified as diverse. We have a very strong partnership with athletics, which is a really key component. Athletes, especially at the Division I level, if they have any type of major injury or as they're phasing out, their identity is being challenged. They've always identified as an athlete, now they need to move on to profession, so that could be very life-changing. So working with athletics is very important for us. For disability services, we had 975 students that use disability services. They provide resources such as e-texts, CART equipment, Kurzweil software, and Sonison software. They provide notes for over 348 classes, and they proctored 411 tests this past semester. That number keeps going up. We have more students are identifying as having a disability, and so we need to provide the services accordingly for them. For fraternity and sorority life, we have 8 IFC, 7 NPHC, and 6 Panhellenic sororities for 618 affiliated students. It's important to know our all-Greek cumulative GPA is 3.2 versus the campus spring 3.03. Our Greeks do very well. This past spring, they raised $55,000. Our Hispanic Cultural Center, we actually just moved. We switched spaces with student government. I am very pleased that the center is being used significantly now. We just hired a new coordinator for that area. She is a rock star. We're talking about our rock stars. She came from admissions. She has a very strong student affairs background. She's come from a number of other higher education institutions with very strong programs. She is getting out in the community and she's running programs continuously. They offer Spanish tutoring, which is a huge resource for this campus. In the spring alone, they had 1,544 visits in the small room and 253 unique students. Housing and dining, this is the battleship of what we have in student affairs. A lot of times people focus more on the housing side, so I want to touch upon what we have in dining as well, which is our Chartwell's operation. We have 1,523 meal plans that have been sold. 142 employees utilize that, me being one of them. And we hire 32 students to help in that operation. In the past 10 years, they've brought in $10 million in scholarships and in-kind catering and contributions to Austin Peay. A lot of people don't know that. On the housing side, we have 1,550 beds. We're currently at 85% occupancy. We have hired 55 RAs, 4 RHDs, and they run a program called Intentional Conversations, which is where they are required to meet with students at least twice a semester to have a structured conversation to see how they're doing and making sure they're making progress. They sent academic alerts to 633 students in the spring. So they're also acting as coaches, making sure they're guiding themselves along the way. Military Student Services, last semester, we had 7,060 visits over there. And again, this is in a small room. If you go down in the Union and see the operation they have, you'd be surprised that you can get that many people in that area. That was for our 2,659 veterans. The program that they offer are texts for vets. One thing we've changed this past semester is now you can obtain those texts not only by going downstairs, but you can go to the library, which is a little more accessible because of the hours of operation they're using. They also have 326 faculty, staff, and students that have been trained in Green Zone, and they are a significant community partner. There's probably not a day out of the week where I don't have the staff running out to some meeting to work with one of our other organizations, whether it be nonprofit or civic-oriented. For Student Affairs Programs and Assessment, this is where our family guide is pushed, and you've got a copy of that. It's also where our student handbook is published. One addition that we put in this year is a veterans section. If you go to the center, it's highlighted a little bit. It's not highlighted. It's darkened on the side. That is a huge resource for our students here. Another nice thing about this area is we have something called the Parent Portal. For that Parent Portal, we have 6,849 members in there. And that becomes really helpful. We need to push information out because we, in the spring alone, sent out 3,749 messages to them. That helps alleviate some of the traffic and phone calls onto the campus. It's a little bit of a relief valve. And anytime we find out there's some potential misinformation, we could put it out there and it quells any concerns that we have. It's an amazing resource. This is also where our assessment of student learning outcomes and our administration unit outcomes is put. So we are ahead of the curve. We're in a very good place as it relates to SACS reaccreditation, and we're actually being reviewed this coming semester for that. For student conduct, I'm pleased we actually don't have a insane caseload as opposed to some other schools I've worked. I'm sure sometimes it still seems like a lot, right, Greg? Fall semester, we had 898 cases for 590 students. In the spring, we had 647 for 454 cases. Res Life was able to address 222 cases. We had 43 care cases and 60 academic integrity violations. If you're looking at organizational-wise, we had 21 fraternity or sorority-related violations and 17 athletic. That's a very small number. Be very happy with that because we are. Actually, I'm going to go back here. Another thing we've started is meeting with our religious advisors on campus. We meet with them about every 6 weeks. They are a huge resource for us on campus and in the community. We've actually set up a formal MOU with them, so if we have any type of crisis, we can draw on their expertise to help our students and our campus move through whatever issue may have come about. Food pantry and our service learning and community engagement, you've got the handout for our annual report for both those areas. This past semester, we had 400 students that utilized the food pantry. We accumulated 4,588 volunteer hours with 854 students volunteering. We had 418 students take service learning classes, and there are 22 classes that were offered, and they raised over $14,000. We're always looking for donations to help that operation continue on. For student media, in the fall, they garnished 6 national awards and 5 regional awards. In the spring, they received another 2. They distribute over 2,000 to 3,000 newspapers a week. And one of them, one of the highlighted articles that was really focused on nationally was the Rebuild and Reflect section. They are an amazing operation, and they do some wonderful photography. So all the slides, all the pictures here are from the Allstate. They also help with the publications, so you'll see a lot of overlap between student affairs publications and the Allstate. Student life engagement is a very large operation. We have 134 student organizations. One of those organizations is the largest in the United States, and that's our National Society of Leadership and Success. We have over 1,010 members. the largest out of every college and university. That's pretty impressive. We have an adulting series that talks about subjects such as changing a flat tire, folding sheets, and even cooking. We have those videotapes, that way students can watch them at their leisure. I'll give you a little story in this.
Can I sign up for the folding sheets part?
I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah.
I did this. I did a similar program at prior institution. We went to go do it. So we used one of the police vehicles. So first thing you need to do, of course, is chalk the wheel. We had nothing to chalk the wheel. We went to jack the vehicle up. It had no jack. Went to take the spare tire off. It had frozen underneath the vehicle. And then we were able to obtain those things, and we couldn't get the lug nuts off. So this is a good exercise for students to learn and to try on their own vehicle. It's good. This is where all the campus programming exists. One of the new initiatives is the G1 Govs. You actually have our pin for that. This is our first generation program. We're measuring which students are first generation, which is a very large percentage here, as well as how many faculty and staff are first gen. We're trying to set up a formal mentorship relationship for our students and faculty and staff. So a poll just went out to gather the names of those individuals and to see if they're interested in participating in that mentorship. This is also where our P-Link portal is. I hope all of you have the AP app on your phone. Please show me. This is what we do with our students. Okay, if you go onto it, if you log in, you can see all the campus events. What I also like about this portal is they can identify programs that have food. We know we have a large percentage of students that have food insecurities. They could probably get away with not having a food plan if they ferreted their time out well enough on this thing. We always have programs with food on campus all the time. We also have some major programs coming up. One of those is Miss Austin P. That's tomorrow evening. Please show up if you can go for that. And we're always looking for sponsorships. This past year for our fall Apex weekend, we had that sponsored by Life Point Church. They covered the whole night. Very nice. UREC, we have 1,315 daily users in the pool alone. I always like to start off pools. I'm a little biased. In the spring, we had 61,000 students, faculty, staff, and community members use the FOI. Fun fact, the basketballs were checked out 3,099 times in the spring. Makes me feel like I'm in Indiana still.
Yeah.
The FOI was rented out for 1,582 hours in the spring. We had 1,741 people attending group fitness classes. This semester alone, we were running a number of outdoor adventure-based programs, including the Ochi River rafting trip, the Appalachian Trail hike, rock climbing at Sandrock, and a trip to Big Bend National Park in Texas. Lots of fun activities. We're also starting an outdoor adventure-based counseling program. It's a nationally certified program. It's going to be a big gain for us. Vet Success, I don't know if people understand we have this program here. This places a VA counselor on our campus. They provide support for our veterans, including adjustment counseling, support services, career counseling, tutoring, employee assistance, and they also are able to shepherd people through the VA benefits and health services. The time to ask to service delivery here is exceptionally short having that person here. She's a great addition. I also want to point out you've been given the Student Affairs pin. There's a lot of symbolism behind that. We have a little competition going on with pins with our deans here. We enjoy it quite a bit. But the symbolism behind it, it starts off at one color and it gets brighter as it goes out. As students spend their time here, that's what we expect. There is a circle with a series of arrows that is continuous. Student development is a continuous development process. We're always going to challenge them. We're going to support them. We're going to make sure they continue to move beyond that. And of course, the center of all that is Austin P. Do you have any questions?
What's an elf that you help?
I don't think it's an actual elf. It's a program. I had to ask clarity on this as well. It's an adopt a family type program. Any other questions?
Dr. Norman, thanks for a great report. And I thank Dr. White and Danelle and all of you who come and present information to us that most of us had no idea or have no idea that's going on, and it's very, very impressive. The services provided, the activities that are available for students are kind of second to none. I'm really
We are
impressed.
second to none.
Yeah. So thank you very much. It's great.
Thank you.
On August 15 and 16, excuse me, trustees from the 6 locally governed institutions and the University of Tennessee, along with the regents from the Tennessee Board of Regents, convened in Memphis to discuss innovation in higher education and the trustees' role in that innovation. And I would just ask if my fellow trustees would like to share any of your thoughts based on that 2-day session. It was very, very enlightening, I know.
I think I would add that the breakout sessions I thought were very beneficial. And I chose some with respect to data presentations because not only did it help me here, but perhaps in my own job. And so that was very, very good. I also appreciate any time that you have to collaborate with other people who are doing the same types of things on their campus and exchange ideas. I think that can only help to benefit our own board as we move forward.
Yeah, I agree, Robin. I think for me, along with you, the interaction with other board members from around the state, in my particular case, the opportunity to kind of interact and share knowledge and information with other board chairs was really, really beneficial. So I know Lauren's back there, and thank you for helping to put that together because it's a valuable annual, I think, activity that we would look forward to continuing to participate in. Others?
I thought this was a very engaging summit, which was held around mid-August. There was Mike Krause, Executive Director. Sorry, is this on? I think it is. Oh, it's not close enough. Mike Krause, THEC Executive Director. Lauren was there. Thank you very much for all the information that you provided. I'm a new trustee here, so I was very honored and privileged and happy to attend this, to learn something about my role. And I just wanted to share a couple of interesting things that sort of came through from this summit. The panels that we had, the breakout sessions, and the various people who spoke to us, they had lots of helpful information about the future of higher ed. The title of the conference, the summit, was Innovative Governance, Positioning Tennessee Higher Education for the Future. And you certainly got that impression that we have to be doing things a little differently. So we have one common theme here was deconstruct and rebuild, work with new ideas, concepts of fiduciary responsibility, revenue generating ideas, expense reductions ideas, the trends in higher education, the fact that LGI boards have brought on a more in-depth level of conversation, and the fact that they're asking better questions of our institution. The mission, as it was described to us, we're relentlessly focused on increasing the number of Tennesseans with a post-secondary credential, and the focus is the prosperity of Tennessee families, workforce for Tennessee employers, and the success of our Tennessee students. So given that sort of general construct in which the whole conference was handled, we can see that there were various elements in there for me to absorb, and for everyone else, it gave me a chance to meet the new trustees from the other LGI institutions. So this was very, very helpful. I learned a lot. One theme that was hammered and pounded on by various speakers is sort of, if you remember, the Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. That very phrase was mentioned. We need to be nimble, adaptive to our 21st century environment, and be aware of the population that we are serving. These are students in a digital electronic world. I think Stacy would agree with that. She was sitting through that, many of those sessions of how they're asking us to kind of be thinking carefully about the kind of model of the teaching delivery methods that we also use to engage our students. Open resource textbooks, resources that work well with iPads, smartphones, tablets. Yesterday, we had to learn this new system right here because we were used to binders. So it tells us that we're kind of keeping abreast of that kind of change. So we have to adapt to the way our young people think and perform with their devices. And that's a quote. So we were trained yesterday to work with this, and we can see how we can apply that towards the classroom. And one theme that clearly stayed through for the 2 days that I was there listening and taking a lot of notes was the student comes through the door here, and it's very important of all the things we do in between here to finally get them completed and graduated from Austin P. That was the bottom line. That's where the funding lies. That's where the importance of our formula is, the completion And so we need to be doing everything in our power and possible to make sure our students are successful. And a question that I always ask myself, even though I've been here for 27 years and been in higher ed as a professor for 38, why am I here? That's the question you always have to ask. What are you here for? And when you pare it down and you take away all the distractions, you realize it's only about one single thing, is student success, finding a way for that student to be successful. So I found this innovative education conference very inspiring. It was provocative. It made me think about lots of things. And I thank the folks here for inviting me to that. And I'm very honored to be a member of this body and moving Austin Peay forward. So thank you very much.
So top that. Thank you for a terrific summary of the meeting and of your thoughts, Dr. Wadi, and we're thrilled to have you as a member of the board, as a faculty representative. Thanks. At this time, I'd like to recognize President White to give her remarks and also to report on any interim items.
Thank you, Chairman O'Malley, and thank you for agreeing to serve and continue your service as chair, and thanks to Trustee Kanata for continuing to serve. But thank you to all the board members for your commitment to Austin Peay and for agreeing to shuffle these committees a little bit. And that's one reason we wanted to have Dr. Norman here today. If you really haven't seen student affairs in depth, you would have no idea. I would have no idea how much of the campus they really oversee. And that's one reason we wanted to separate the committees, to make sure that one was not, in academic affairs and student affairs, that one was not missed. And so I appreciate your willingness to flex on that. I also want to say thank you to colleagues who make my life easier, make my job easier. With my shoulder surgery a few days ago, I have missed more work than typically. I'm never ill. I'm blessed with very good health, and so you can check my record. I'm just never gone. But I found out that when I am gone, nothing misses a beat, because we have experts who handle their responsibilities with such a plum. They just don't need a lot of supervision or direction. And then I found out that they can handle mine pretty well too. And so I just wanted to say publicly thank you to the senior leadership team and my office staff, Joanne and McCartney and Carol, who have other responsibilities but also support me. So I really appreciate your work to help me get back up to speed. So this morning you heard a lot about the academic performance of our student athletes, and I wanted to take just a minute to talk to you about our student body as a whole, because I think it really will help you understand what the numbers mean in context. And frankly, you heard some of the context through Dr. Gentile's remarks and some of them through Dr. Norman's remarks. And so I actually will skip a little bit of this because they covered it. But what I think is really important for you to know is that our student body is very unique. We are not like other institutions. And I can say that our heart's not quite the same either, but a lot of that happens to be because of who we serve and where we are. Our students' experiences and their backgrounds shape Austin Peay, and it makes us into a community, it shapes us into a community that really makes us a good place for someone to get a degree. So let me explain. You've already heard that we have a high number of non-traditional students. We have the highest number among Tennessee public institutions. We have the highest number of Pell eligible students among Tennessee's public universities. That means many of our students struggle financially. And so when Dr. Norman's talking about food insecurity, he's saying we have people on campus who don't always have enough to eat. And so we do try to find opportunities to feed them and make sure that they can get something. If you're hungry, it's very difficult to study. And so we work on that quite a bit. We have the highest number of military-affiliated students among Tennessee's public universities. You know, active duty and veteran students come to us with a lot of skills already. They come different than other students. But they also deal with unexpected deployments, and even if they're not deployed and they have a family member deployed, that completely changes the family dynamic. And so if you take those students, and then you take the dependents and the veterans, they all have to deal with barriers that other students don't have. Just dealing with the paperwork to get military assistance is incredibly challenging and difficult. And so they have some challenges that other students don't have. Many of our students are first generation, meaning they're the first in their families to attend college. Now, we know that that's going to be transformative for the family. But, you know, I'm a higher education professional. I've been in higher education for more than 30 years. I've got 3 kids, and they all went to different schools. And even for me, deciphering that college catalog was not easy, because every school does it a little bit differently with a little bit different language. They're set up a little bit differently. And you take that first gen student, how is the parent going to help decipher the catalog if the parent hasn't been to school? How does the parent know how to decipher the importance of a particular curriculum? Well, it's really our jobs, but a lot of times the students want to go home and talk to somebody who can help them, and they don't have anybody at home who's got that experience. And so it's really important to us to help them translate the higher education vernacular so that they can be successful. Many of our non-traditional students have full-time jobs. Actually, some of our traditional students have full-time jobs. They have families, and they have to balance work and family life with academic work. And all of these students make sacrifices to attend college because they know what it's going to do for them in the future. But that also means that we have to work differently. We have to work harder, and we have to work more strategically to assist them. So when you talk about the formula funding and you say, okay, why is there a 0.8 premium? It's because we have to spend more to help students graduate if they're not coming on a level playing field. So that's why the money comes in from the state at a little bit different rate, because we have to provide different assistance. And so Dr. Norman already talked about the ANTS Center. And I wanted to also, that's the adult, non-traditional, and transfer student center. But know that the programming there, while it's geared to them, that center and all of our centers are open to all students. So if you've got a student who doesn't particularly identify as a non-traditional, that student can still get help in that center. And I think that's really important too. I frequently speak about military-affiliated students because they make up 1/4 of our population. Yesterday, we were privileged to host Leadership Middle Tennessee here, this current class, and we talked a little bit about how we serve our military students. They had spent some time on Fort Campbell the day before, so General Brower and General Bailey and I did a presentation to them. And one of the questions that came from a leader in Middle Tennessee, not from Clarksville, said, how can you teach other people to do what you do with military? Because just because you're next to a military installation doesn't mean that you offer the same services. Well, in just a few days, we're going to be offering it's a conference that is being supported by a grant from the Tennessee Higher Education Commission, where we're going to have a couple of days where people all over the state come and learn how to serve military students. And that's going to be really important for our state because of our large veterans population. Some of our military students are active duty, some are veterans who continue to work to advance our nation's goals in other countries even when they depart. So I got a great picture, got a great email this summer. One graduate who is a veteran who's working in Afghanistan right now sent us a photo of himself in regalia in Afghanistan, standing in front of an American flag because he couldn't get back for commencement. But he just sent this email and he said, I want you to know how excited I am to graduate from Austin Peay. I loved that because he had pride in Austin Peay. He had pride in himself for graduating, and he had pride in his country. And I think if I just could have that one picture in my heart all the time, understanding who these students are and what they do. This guy has been completing classes in Afghanistan for months, which I love that. So you heard a little bit about the Military Student Center led by Jasmine Yunaris, and it has grown exponentially. Now we're going to have the Military Family Resource Center, which will include this smaller center and a lot of other things too. So don't confuse the two. But the center helps people like Erica Harris. She served 8 years in the United States Army, and she wanted to serve longer. But her mother died. Her mother died in 2010. and she came back to take custody of her siblings, to raise her siblings. And so her life changed unexpectedly. She went to college in Alabama and then found her way to Austin Peay through the Fort Campbell Center and then through the Clarksville Center. And this one student has used services offered by the TRIO Student Support Services Office, the Wilbur N. Daniel African American Cultural Center, the ANTS Center, the Vet Success on Campus Office, and the Military Student Center. She said she returns to the Student Center daily, so she'll fit in. Her life is different. She's got custody of siblings. She has a completely different background. She needs a place where she fits in, and she's being very successful. She's a theater major, has appeared as an extra in TV shows such as Nashville and Remnant 13, and she wants to be in a Marvel superhero pick someday, and in my book, she's already a superhero. Our services are going to help her reach her objectives. Our Wilbur N. Daniel African American Cultural Center offers a mentoring program to help support our African American male students. The Achievers and Scholars program pairs students with a faculty or staff mentor. Students attend meetings and workshops that integrate academic, social, and supportive components to engage them. They attend leadership courses. They participate in a service learning activity. And I'll tell you, 100% of the program's participants have either graduated or they're still enrolled. We have not lost one. We have not had one leave Austin Peay without a degree. The state measures achievement gaps, which is the rate various groups of students graduate versus the general university population. The average achievement gap between African American students and the general population in the state of Tennessee is 15.9%. The achievement gap at Austin Peay is the lowest in the state at 2.9%, which I think is amazing. Of course, not all of our students are non-traditional. And let me explain a little bit more about achievement gaps before I move on. A lot of achievement gaps come because of the high schools and the middle colleges that students attend before they come here. And I've used this example before, but I came here from East Texas, and you might have 90 school systems really close to the university. If you were in a good school system, you might have a physicist teach physics, and a chemist teach chemistry, and a biologist teach biology. If you're in some school systems, you will have a science teacher teach all of those. I set my hair on fire in chemistry when I was in college. I need a chemist teaching me chemist. The chemist suggests I take biology instead. But chemistry was not my strong suit, right? It matters what the background is when you're trying to learn difficult subjects. We're very privileged here, so I have to say some of why I think our achievement gap is so low is we have a fabulous school system here. Clarksville-Montgomery County School System prepares students very well. So for our students who grow up here, when they come to Austin Peay, they're very well prepared, and I think that's a big difference. So we have a large population of traditional students as well. They come straight to us from high school, and some come with dreams to change the world. Some have already changed the world before they get here. Some of you have met sophomore Mallory Fundora, who gave her parents a very short Christmas list when she was 11 years old. Many kids, my kids, would ask for toys and phones. I ask Elliot for toys and phones still. But Mallory's wish when she was 11 years old was to help others, and she asked her parents to help her help Africa. She started a program, a not-for-profit, called Project Yesu, and in 2013, she started this feeding program to serve 50 students, children in Africa. That number doubled by the end of the first week. Project Yesu currently provides a meal to more than 500 school children every weekday in Africa. In 2014, Mallory began the Child Sponsorship Program, which matches donors with children who want to obtain an education. Currently, 275 children have sponsorships. While the nonprofit continues to grow, she's working to achieve her own educational goals. By attending here as a sophomore, she's about 19 years old. She's a social work major with a focus in nonprofit management. She's a member of the President's Emerging Leaders Program, and she's working with a business professor to offer a service learning course in Uganda next year. That service learning trip that she's planning, along with our other service learning, study abroad, and undergraduate research opportunities, help our students progress to graduation. Research shows that students who participate are likely to graduate at a much higher level. Trustee Wadia knows this very well. He's led, how many study abroad courses have you offered over the years? About 20. Well, that's what I meant. Yeah, over the years. One of our students found out how valuable this research experience can be. He took part in the summer research experience in undergraduate program for Princeton University. It's a research experience for undergraduates program at Princeton University. He's a physics major. He worried that he would not be as prepared as students from some of the larger or Research One universities. When he came back, he said the opportunities here made him better prepared than most of his colleagues who were in that program at Princeton. At Austin Peay, he has co-authored multiple presentations, explored possible substitutes for crystalline materials in modern technology as a part of the university's glass group. Did you know we have a glass group? And he worked alongside of the world's leading experts in glass production during a study abroad trip to the Czech Republic. So I've shared some examples of how earning a degree from Austin Peay helps students in the short term. And I had a meal recently with Dr. Mike Kerrigan, who is the head of Premier Medical here, and some of you know Dr. Kerrigan. He told me when he went to medical school from Austin Peay, he was better prepared than almost everyone in his class. About a week ago, Congressman Phil Rowe was on campus, and he is also a medical doctor, and he said he was better prepared for medical school than most of the people in his class, having come through an Austin Peay undergraduate experience. We have people who invest their lives here after coming to Austin Peay. Dean Barry Jones, who leads the College of Arts and Letters, attended Austin Peay as a first-generation student. He wasn't first-generation very long, and I'll tell you why. His father was stationed here due to the military, and he didn't intend to come here. However, he didn't fill out a FAFSA form. That's a financial aid form. Goes back to the first gen. How would you know you needed to? If you didn't have somebody telling you, you have to apply really early for financial aid. When he realized he didn't have any financial aid assistance, he said, I'll stay at Austin Peay for a year, and then I'll transfer. He fell in love with the university because of an art professor, and he's still here. He graduated, left to get an MFA, came back as an assistant professor, worked his way up to full professor, became the department chair, and now, after a national search, has been named the dean of the College of Arts and Letters. He graduated here as an undergraduate in 1995, the same day his mother graduated here after taking classes at Fort Campbell. Angie Judish, you may know Angie. She works, she's a local who works in our payroll office, and actually she's in benefits now. She saw many of her friends choose to come to Austin Peay. She was reared in Houston County. She completed an associate's degree, went to work for TVA, came back to Austin Peay to work in payroll, and was on her way to earn a bachelor's degree. She stopped out to get married, have a family, came back, earned that bachelor's degree, and she's the director of benefits in our Office of Human Resources and is a proud supporter of the university. She's spent her adult life here. And I have one more. I'm going to put him on the spot. Mr. Bill Persinger, our executive director for PR and marketing, who's in the back of the room, is an alumnus as well. He began college at UT Martin. I can't understand that, Bill. But sorry, Chancellor. The Chancellor there is a great friend of mine, Chancellor Carver, but of course, Austin Peay. He began college at UT Martin with one of his best friends, and then financial challenges brought him back home, and he started here as a sophomore. He worked 2 to 3 jobs, went to school full-time, landed an internship at Bunton Advertising in Nashville, and after graduation came back as a graphic designer, and now is the head of all of our public relations and marketing department. He has spent his entire working life at Austin Peay. I wanted to put a face behind or around the people that you serve. I can maybe show you the faces of the people that you serve. I wanted to show you some stories, but frankly, some of you sitting at this table have told me your own stories that are very similar. Trustee Carroll's talked to me about A.J. Taylor. Professor Taylor passed away last year, but his legacy is still here because of the work that he did with Trustee Carroll and other students, and I hear it all the time. there's one recurring theme, whether I hear the story today from someone graduating in May or who just graduated or someone who graduated 50 years ago, our graduates leave here ready for whatever the next step happens to be. You've already heard from Stacy McAllister Brooks, who will, she may not be president of the university, she may be president of the United States before it's over. You heard from Nia a few minutes ago in athletics. Our students are strong. They leave here ready for graduate school, ready for a professional degree, ready for a job. They leave here ready to lead. So the impact that we make on them is important to their success. And I just wanted to thank you very much for what you allow us to do to take students, regardless of their preparation, regardless of what high school they went to, regardless of whether they're raising children and married, regardless of whether they're military affiliated. You allow us to invest and help them create the dreams and fill those dreams that will change their futures and the futures of their family. And so that's all I had. I'll be happy to take questions. And then you also have a list of interim items of contracts and building commission actions that I've signed since your last meeting. So if you have a question on that, I'm happy to take that question as well.
Thank you for the inspirational words, as always. It's been a terrific meeting. You find me kind of wanting to explore coming back to Austin Peay and working on my master's so I can just get back involved in the university.
Admissions?
Yeah, that's right.
Dean of Graduate School.
So thank you, Dr. White, and we're glad you're on the mend.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back. As a reminder, our next regularly scheduled meeting will take place November 21 and 22. I move, therefore, that the meeting adjourn. Do I hear a second? Second. It is moved and seconded that the meeting adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here today.